The story of Saul, the first king of Israel, is a tragic tale of disobedience and despair. Saul began his reign with a heart after God. Sadly, pride and disobedience poisoned his heart. As his reign progressed, Saul drifted away from God. He made poor choices. He disobeyed God's direct commands. As a result, God's favor shifted from Saul. Facing a Philistine army and desperate for guidance, Saul found himself in a dark place. The Philistines were formidable enemies. Defeat seemed imminent. Saul's usual methods of seeking God, such as prayer and seeking prophets, were met with silence. This silence amplified his fear and desperation. In his desperation, Saul sought answers outside of God's will. He turned to a practice strictly forbidden by God, necromancy. He wanted to communicate with the dead. He sought to contact the deceased prophet Samuel, hoping to gain insight into the upcoming battle. Throughout the Old Testament, God clearly condemns sorcery, divination, and necromancy. These practices are an abomination to the Lord. They are a form of idolatry. They involve seeking knowledge and power outside of God, acknowledging other authorities in place of the one true God. Deuteronomy chapter 18 verses 10 to 12 states, "Let no one be found among you who sacrifices their son or daughter in the fire, who practices divination or sorcery, interprets omens, engages in witchcraft or casts spells, or who is a medium or spiritist, or who consults the dead. Anyone who does these things is detestable to the Lord." This passage clearly outlines God's stance on such practices. It emphasizes the severity of seeking guidance from any source other than himself. These practices are not merely harmless rituals, they are a dangerous foray into the spiritual realm. They open doors to deception and spiritual bondage. God's warnings are for our protection, to guide us towards His truth and keep us from spiritual harm. He wants us to rely solely on Him, the source of all truth and wisdom. Blinded by fear and desperation, Saul disregarded God's clear commands. He sought out a woman in Endor known for practicing necromancy. This woman, often referred to as the Witch of Endor, was known for her ability to communicate with the dead. Saul's decision was a grave misstep. It was a blatant disregard for God's law. He allowed fear to cloud his judgment. His desperation pushed him into disobedience. Instead of repenting and seeking God's forgiveness, he chose a path that led him further away from God's grace. Saul's journey to Endor was a descent into darkness. Every step took him further from the light of God's presence. His actions demonstrated a heart that had turned away from God. He had placed his hope in forbidden practices instead of the God who had once chosen him as king. Section 4. A glimpse beyond the veil, deception and its consequences. The account of Saul's encounter with the Witch of Endor is shrouded in mystery. The woman summoned a spirit claiming to be Samuel. This spirit prophesied Saul's downfall, intensifying his fear and despair. Whether the spirit was truly Samuel or a demonic entity masquerading as the prophet is a matter of debate. Regardless, the encounter highlights the deceptive nature of dabbling with the occult. The spiritual realm is real, and not all spirits are benevolent. Saul's experience underscores the danger of seeking guidance outside of God's will. He received a message that offered no comfort or hope, only pronouncements of doom. Instead of finding the guidance he sought, he plunged deeper into despair. Section 5. Seeking True Guidance, a Timeless Lesson. The story of Saul and the Witch of Endor serves as a stark warning for us today. We too live in a world filled with fear, uncertainty, and spiritual deception. Like Saul, we may be tempted to seek answers outside of God's will. The world offers countless alternatives to God's truth. Horoscopes, tarot cards, and other forms of divination may seem harmless, but they can lead us down a dangerous path away from the one who holds our true destiny. Instead of seeking shortcuts or easy answers, we must cultivate a deep and abiding relationship with God. This relationship is built on prayer, studying His Word, and seeking His guidance in all aspects of our lives. God desires to guide us, to speak to us, and to lead us in His paths. He promises to provide wisdom and discernment when we seek Him with all our hearts. The lesson is clear. True guidance and lasting hope are found only in God. He is the only source of truth, and He alone holds the answers we seek. Let us learn from Saul's mistakes and choose to walk in obedience and faith, trusting in God's guidance every step of the way.